All right, welcome to part two of the 2025 Big League preseason preview. I'm back with JR of the Somerville Moneyline. Welcome back, JR.
Yo, what's going on, Paul?
And thanks again for hopping on and agreeing to break down the ICE conference, the inferior conference. I'm using that right? Right? Inferior?
Nah, it's the vocabulary over the fire is also lacking. Sub 500.
Okay,
So
all right.
that's not
They might be
correct
the
either.
slightly better conference historically so far. They do have more championships. They pretty much dominate interleague every single season. Um, but every year the Fire Conference gives them a tough time in the championship series. So,
Well, it's baseball. I mean,
yeah, top talent's always good on both ends.
yeah, it's there's some Denver teams. Las Vegas probably has one of the greatest teams in the history of the league. There's some Huron teams that cut through the whole thing, and then everybody else was a grind for everybody else. It wasn't something that was definite for everybody. So that's the one thing that we see in the fire. You know what's interesting, and not to go crazy here on a tangent, but in this 25th year, I think that we finally have gotten to the point where the inaugural draft and the way that everything occurred during the inaugural draft has flattened out across both conferences. I think that the Fire, or I should say the Ice, drafted the better players and just were more aggressive in that inaugural draft, and it's really permeated throughout this whole entire history of the TBL.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. It's definitely been an ice heavy side on skill for a while. I feel like I don't know, maybe I'm going down the wrong tree here. I was going to say I feel like there's been more turnover in the Fire Conference, but I don't think that's true. I think it's been pretty even on both sides. But for whatever reason, if it was the inaugural draft or whatever else, it's definitely been the dominant conference. And like you said, the dominant team the last few years has been Denver, although you were the dominant team last year, winning more games than anybody else in the Ice Conference.
Regular season wins.
Regular season, yeah. We'll get to the finals, right? Our runner-up last year was the Dynamite after going to their third straight championship. So we'll start with the Jade Conference and start with Jay's team in Denver. Even though they didn't win the division last year, did they? They were the second.
No, but 96 wins.
They were still okay.
Yeah, and there were a lot of valleys. You got peaks and you got valleys. There's a lot of valleys for that team to pull off 96. So that talent was ridiculous.
Yeah, and it was really early on that the struggles occurred. I feel like this team was under 500 at the All-Star break almost.
Yeah.
And then they finally picked it up and took off. And then in the postseason it was kind of same old. They were able to kind of just dispatch everybody. Let's go with the playoff history here just to remind ourselves. They beat you in 7. That wasn't so easy, but they got there pretty easily. Another nice season for Jay, and he's been, I want to say, maybe the measuring stick for success in the league. He was kind of head-to-head, and there's other good gems. You're one of them. Zach was really competing with him at the top there for a while. Ryan in New Orleans has a couple championships. But right now, I think Jay is kind of the measuring stick in terms of building a successful franchise, and he's done a great job over the last few years. 4 championships.
Maximizing everything. That's what Jay does.
Yeah.
When he was in the dumps, he was killing it with sneaky, little international free agent signings, minor league free agent signings, and he was actually the one guy who would be able to make the trade to trade away an aging star. A lot of teams just let him go to free agency, let him retire, whatever it may be, and Jay was actually able to extract value out of every single one of those guys and then reload and then come back.
Yep, absolutely. He's one thing I love. He gives all his attention to the TBL. He's not a GM that's in a bunch of different leagues. So he's really focused on his team, and so when he's super successful, he has high-end pieces, championship-wise, because he makes really smart moves and he really dives into other people's teams to make them good trades. And then, like you said, when he's not in championship form, he really just extracts really great value.
Yeah, and you got to look out for the tactics of. You said he was in sales. I don't know if it's used
I don't
cars.
know.
I don't
Is
know
he in
what it is.
sales? I don't remember if I said that. I don't know what Jay does.
I thought he was. I thought it was. Maybe he's a politician. I don't know what the heck he is. But
I'm curious.
he'll soft close you with delivering deals to your inbox and just be like, hey, I'll just leave this right here. Maybe the crappiest deal on earth for you, but you got you do think twice about it. He also, we mentioned this before. He's very easy to talk to. So whatever whenever I talk to him, I have no problem making a trade with him, as we've seen before. So,
Yep.
yeah, he really masters the soft skills of being a GM.
For sure. Just to fluff him up a little bit more here, we're on his history team history screen. Excuse me. I should probably start our timer so we don't go for 2 hours here. On the team history screen, he took over a franchise that was one of the worst out of the gate. If you remember, we actually have an emote or whatever you call those things, emoji, in Slack, the hemlock tree, which is based off of the first GM here because he was a little eccentric. And from there, just look at that. I mean, they were a terrible franchise when he took over. So he's really done a great job. Just one small window of rebuild, and it was pretty quick.
Yeah. Great job of parlaying those early assets into that run in the early 2010s, teens there, and then selling off after getting caught in a scandal, which we're going to definitely mention, and then coming back, and then
Yes. Yes, there was a slight scandal there.
Yeah,
Some
there's
people
something
say
going
those
on there.
first championships
I'm
have
tempted
maybe
to
an
put
asterisk.
Yeah, I'm not tempted to be like, all right, what was the asterisk next to it? But we're going to mention these things.
It speaks towards Jay. He's the innovator of the league. He pushes the boundaries. It's the reason we don't have player options. He had some very really creative contracts, and but yeah, there was some trading going on. But since then, there's been a lot of similar kind of trading, and people have kind of piped down. I think that was also not just there wasn't just shenanigans or anything like that, but it was also kind of like the league was young, and there was a lot of opinion about what was happening there, and not as much action as there is today.
Yeah.
I would compare the situation. Sorry that was kind of vague, but compare the situation to maybe Toronto a year or two ago. Really unloaded a lot of pieces, and a lot of them went to Denver, and I didn't hear as many people complaining,
Well,
which I was happy
about. I never complained about the Huron-Denver trade because the league didn't have enough aggressive trading or market where somebody else, was going to jump in and make that trade.
Yeah.
So
right.
Jay was willing to do it.
Jay and Michael were the two most active GMs, and they traded a lot of pieces back and forth.
Yeah, exactly.
And now they're division mates.
Yeah, and Jay. The other thing is, Jay really concentrates on having high-end talent on the TBL level, so he'll trade away prospects early, and some of them turn into some, good pieces somewhere else, but he'll always make sure the 9 guys, the 8 guys he puts out in the field, the pitching, whatever, they're always top notch.
Yep. I mean, just looking at his team position ranking screen to back that up, he's got the best by rank. Again, these aren't the say all end all, but Brian McIntosh, first and third base, number 1 shortstop. Top position pretty much everywhere. His pitching is super strong as well. He's got another top team. His money's invested. The Denver Dynamite are who the Denver Dynamite are. But the moment Jay decides that's not who they are, I have no doubt he can flip most of these contracts. Just with his skills and inability to make a deal.
And another great skill he has is sniffing out crappy GMs in the Fire Conference for deals. I mean, it's just it's uncanny.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's again, when we have turnover in this league, right? I want to say a GM maybe a season turns over at this point, and when that happens, new people come in and really it takes a minute to get to know the shape and feel of the league and who's who. So other people got to be more aggressive and new GMs got to be smart. So. Payroll insane, 233 million, 237 million locked up next year. Somehow, total money available, not too bad. Because
Bank of Nashville.
Yep.
Shout out to the Bank of Nashville.
Yep. Surprised he's not selling out every single game. I don't know. Are the fans getting bored with excellence? What's going on here?
It's early. It's snowing in Denver.
Yeah. That's a lot on Denver, though. I didn't talk much about this year's team, but I think we all expect them to be competitive.
Yeah, no Gagliardi.
Nick Henson.
Don't know how much that matters. What's Henson at right now?
Nick Henson's the number 2. He's no longer the ace he once was.
Well, is he even a guy that I don't know? He's at league average now.
It makes sense. He's almost 36. So.
I'm just crazy to see. How many Cy Youngs does he have? What do we call him?
It looks like we got pitcher of the year. 7-time pitcher of the year.
Yeah.
So first ballot Hall of Famer when he leaves. Speaking of Hall of Famers, we'll move on here from Denver in a second. But Aaron Horsfall retired in 2023. Skipped last year. He probably is going to be on the ballot this year. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, I think. Maybe not though. Some people have different opinions.
I think he's definitely. You can't tell a story of the TBL without talking about guys like Horseface.
Horsefall.
Or
Horseface. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, if you just look at
the Celtics are on in the TV in the back, so I probably thought of somebody. Anyways, Horseface. So. That's a big thing for me, and while we're on Jay's team, since he's the guy who wants to do these all-decade teams and Hall of Fame reviews, I gotta push back on the amount that WAR plays into his determination of Hall of Fame. I think that you gotta look at the guys who came up in the big moments and dominated and were top of the league for. For 2 or 3 years and had nice careers. You can. Those guys weigh heavy when in a young league that's 25 years old.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's going to be a lot of guys who don't get the Hall of Fame nod. What I want to do is have like a committee of like OG GMs where we just like maybe every 2 or 3 years just review like 10 guys and vote a couple guys into the Hall posthumously. But. Yeah, no, I agree. When you're shaping that, you got to kind of consider those little niche things.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on from the Dynamite. We'll look at his system real quick because we've done that for everybody. Real quick. Not much there.
Yeah, not.
Yep.
But you know what? He'll trade. I don't even know anything about these guys. He'll trade them.
He'll get a superstar for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is for whoever listens. This is my preach. These guys are not that valuable. If they're an international free agent, they could become a superstar. Don't get me wrong, but they're young. It's gonna be a long journey for them to get to become a 70 potential player.
And
so
the amount of the amount of inaccuracies that the scouts have on these international players before they get to the minor league system, to the low minors, is crazy. You have one of these guys who, your scout will tell you is a 70 potential guy or whatever, and in a minute he's in low A, rookie ball or whatever. Yeah, it's 45 now. It's 50.
All right, well that wraps up Denver. Let's take a look at, I think the division winner last year was Michael. And the Rochester North Stars, once formerly known as the Winston-Salem Camels, since moving to Rochester, they've been pretty good.
Yeah. they play the game very fundamentally. Run prevention, speed,
For sure, speed.
versatility. Jeff Bass, yeah, he's a ringleader.
Yep.
Off to a slow start, but he's an interesting player. He's a little polarizing to me because the one thing he's probably the best in the league history in this little short run of doing is stealing bases.
Mm-hmm.
And he's insanely versatile and he's durable. So the one thing is I wonder how much he's going to be able to hit as he continues. So, you know, he's I don't want to call him an average hitter. He's above average, but he's not going to kill you with slug. He's not going to kill you if he gets on base. Walk becomes a double, single becomes a double becomes a triple, and that's it. So that's his superpower.
Yeah, the other superpower, I think we talked about it maybe last time we talked, but durable, obviously, for a guy with speed, that's super rare. But he also, you're right, his splits lean towards lefties, so he doesn't hit righties as well, which is, he's hitting under 200 so far this year. How much do we value stolen bases in this league? Because, you know, Tony Aponte has got like almost 1,000 steals and can't sniff the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but, you know, I think it's similar to people in other universes where runs have to come with the steals. And you see some black ink or red ink, we whatever we call it here, where that is the case for Bass. Aponte, yeah, look, he has no.
The WAR is so low, but he's got so much red ink.
Triples, a lot of steals. The WAR, see, let's cross the WAR out. Let's cross the WAR out for Aponte here, and if I'm looking at Hall of Fame quality years, do I get more than 5 of those? Probably not.
Yeah, no, it's tough. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a weird guy. Definitely a lot of the red ink plate appearances are bad. So he's kind of like Bass. He was durable, right? He like played a ton of games and he was fast and he just had a really long career.
Was he a DH most of the time? Because I think that kind of. Yeah, he must have been because he's.
It's a good call out. Yeah, a lot of first base.
Yeah,
a lot of
half
DH.
of the games listed in the field. I think he played 1,600 games or
Yep.
something like that. So, yeah, so that being a DH kind of kills him.
Hey, that's a fair assessment. I've never thought of that. Yeah, it's crazy that a DH. You just never think of a DH having the primary stat of being a speedster.
He could have been somebody. A bad team could have put him out at second base or something. And he could have been horrible at second base, but he could have racked up enough WAR because of his offensive skill to actually been a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
just a horrible second baseman or something.
Looking back at Michael's team, pitching's been really great so far this year. This team's like pretty complete. I love the lineup, especially the top 3 guys, like we just talked about base. But you know, DJ Lord was really great last year, and he's young. Came over in a trade from Galveston. Again, just a first base piece, but like, I mean, that's a solid bat. He's wrecked, and I didn't see that. I don't know if that's.
Yeah, that's a challenge. That's a challenge because you know, I've had guys so wrecked that I had to turn their stealing slider all the way down or their base running slider, and it's just like, you know, you can just cross that category out. But if he plays through it, I mean, he's got a lot of steals already on the year. Lord's a good player. I think he's a DH, but whatever. I mean, I'd keep him out of the field. I would try to reduce his workload somewhere, just somewhere to get the most out of him. I love Hoffman. Oh.
Yeah, this was a free agent signing last offseason, and had a really nice season last year. He's already off to a really great start this year as well. Definitely the piece that's being built around, at least at the moment, being paid $100 million over the next 4 years. And Michael has flexibility here. He's got a lot of guys, you know, a lot of his stars are young and in that window where he can, you know, if he adds a few pieces and and has um, this young talent here, he could build a championship team, and he's in that window right now. I feel like hopefully the fans start to boost this up. He's at poor right now, but he's starting to sell out games, which is great to see. So I think he's going to turn around the franchise, not just here for the short term, but
Yeah.
maybe more for the long term.
It's imperative this team wins in
Yeah.
April, May, June, because those fans, they ain't coming out just because they love the North Stars. Um, they don't even know what Rochester this is. Is this New York? Where is it? Anyway, uh, the so that's the only way they're not going to buy season tickets. So the challenge with not selling season tickets is that you divide your gate virtually on every ticket. So you have to get a lot of fans to come out.
Yep. He did have the pitcher of the year 2 years ago in Mike Taylor. Good to throw his name out there before we.
Yeah, maybe one of the best, and I mean, I should say one of maybe the best in the conference. He's up there.
Yep, definitely. Again, I love a guy that can. Just the stamina holds runners to me is such a big deal. I don't know. He is fragile, but again, like I think you really pointed it out. It's not always a big deal. If you look at him, it's not a big deal.
Nah, you gotta watch that shoulder. So, he throws a lot of innings at an age where you can throw a lot of innings. Once you get to those late 20s, see a couple shoulder things popping up. Yeah, this game's always good for a torn labrum at the wrong time.
Yeah, you never know if it's going to be like a 5-year flash in the pan, or if he's going to be one of those guys that's special and can have that extended career, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anybody else want to highlight? The back end of the bullpen's good.
Matt
The
Hancock,
rotation's
because
good.
he's a former Somerville money liner on the back end there.
Oh, Hancock.
Yeah, and a guy I've tried to trade a billion times. Nobody ever asked me for him. And then Denver finally stepped up. See, Denver makes a trade, and I traded him. But I want to see how he gets through the year. He was a guy who was very fragile for me, but when he made it through a season, he struck everybody out. So, yeah, I like Hancock on the back end as far as just being able to really close the door with strikeouts.
Yeah, he's been that ultimate journeyman since the trade to Denver. Played in Washington last year, Spokane, and then Rochester this year. So
44 saves in Spokane. That's very solid.
yeah, for a team that didn't make the playoffs, for sure.
Yeah.
Oops, I'm back on Taylor. Yeah, so no, I like this team. Let's take a look at the system. I think the system's pretty strong still. A lot of young pieces. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, a lot of young pieces. Michael's one of the better drafters. I feel like he always pulls top talent out of the draft.
It's good synergy. So the TBL team is getting good as he's hitting on these high picks and hitting on all more than that. So that's what will get the loyalty up. It's just that he looks like he's going to be set for a long period of winning. So 5, 6, 7. Geez, I was going to say, 5 in the top 50 basically, but when you look at 6 through 10 there, it doesn't, I mean, like we said, you could probably find a guy in hundreds that's going to be a very good player somewhere down the line somewhere.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Yeah, it's a nice. I don't know if these are all from high picks or where these picks are or how he's acquiring everybody, but that's a very impressive list of guys.
Yeah, it looks like first, second rounders, IAFAs, scouting discovery because he needed it there.
Yeah. So he was hammering. IAFA, hammering high picks. You put your money into scouting and all that. And you just really go all in with that stuff, and you get what you get here. You have the ability to get a young core that comes up. You make a couple signings to augment them, and then you let the other guys marinate in the minors.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, those two GMs are definitely trouble moving forward. I think Michael's future window looks brighter than Jay's at the moment, but
Jay's minor league system is very paltry.
yeah, at some point he's gonna bring out the chopping block. All right, yeah. Who was third last year? Do you remember?
Las Vegas, I believe. Yeah.
Las Vegas. The High Rollers. Tim.
Yes.
This team's been one of the best franchises TBL history.
Probably the highest peak.
Yes.
With that 117 win. Listen, they went 110, 117, 106, 109.
105.
A couple of championships. That's as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Even though he probably was it Zach at the time, probably thought he should have had 2 more championships at least.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this team exited in the first round a couple times, or in the second round as the 1 seed, and that was under Zach. Tim's taken over, and the team's not as great as it was, but I mean, it's impossible to sustain that level of success. But this team has won 90 wins every single year since Tim's taken over. And again, we didn't talk about Michael's history. He used to run the Huron Herons. Tim's history is he used to run the Montreal Machine. So has some experience, and he's come in and been successful. He did post in general chat that the holiday seasons were super busy and he wasn't around much, and that's super fair. So I don't know how well how happy he is, I should say, with his off season. But
well,
go ahead.
I was in trade talks with Tim, meaning, asked him about a player, and he knows the deal. He needs to turn one of these huge contracts into something else. Laredo's making a ton of money, and so is Bassett.
Laredo's so good still.
Yeah, they're both good. So it's tough. It's tough. You can't just trade these guys for nothing.
No. Laredo should get a haul, though, still.
Yeah, and it's tough. I mean, this is Laredo's exact guy. If I was a team we talked about what's his name, Travis Eaton a lot. Laredo's another one of those guys. He's in the trade, on the trade block. If I'm a team in the Topaz or the Ruby, and I have a payroll under $100 million, I see what is going on with Laredo or Bassett for that matter.
He's on the trade block like he's been posted in the trade channel?
Yeah, yes.
Have not seen that. So I got to pay more attention because I mean, I'd be interested in him for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have to wait till July 1st because I don't have $24 million to retain 50%.
Exactly, but that's a good 2 years is not horrible for that amount of
So if I'm
Tim,
if I'm selling, I'm waiting till July 1st for that over budget window where people can just give you the moon for him, and I'm just shopping him around because somebody's got to give you a killer return. And ideally, you want to get him out of the J division.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing with me personally is that I only see these teams in that division 4 times. I mean, unless it's the playoffs. So I don't care if he's over there. But listen, get him out of this conference for sure. I think Laredo's the best. If you want to talk about the best bars or whatever, he's got the best bars in the game.
We're talking about his team like he should sell, though, and I'm not even sure that's the case. I mean, we got to talk about look at this team realistically. He's got the second biggest budget and the third biggest payroll, and he's got some superstars in this team. So this team could be a playoff team, even though they're off to a slow start.
No, but you could see
maybe next year's the.
You got to make a decision between the two of these guys, I think.
Does it have to be this year?
Bassett would just be too old at a certain point.
Yeah, do you think it has to be this year, though? I mean, I think Laredo is expiring next year. You could ship him next year.
But if the guy's on the trade block and I'm sitting with enough payroll space and all my picks and whoever in my system, I might give him everything if I could make a run, especially in the Fire Conference.
Yeah, no, for sure. If you're a Fire Conference team and yeah, you should you should dump what you got and commit to him. He's 30. I think I mean, he's still an 80-80. So even if you get him now and get him next year, and then for a couple more years, if you're able to re-sign him for like even 35 million, I think it's worth it as long as you're not going too deep into his 30s. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, but talking about Tim's team, I do think he's done a great job since he's taken over. Uh, not sure. Not sure. Yeah, not sure. I hate this team. I think they could be a playoff team right there with everybody else in this really strong conference.
Well, not it's crazy because they're stacked still as with high end talent, but not the type of depth that a Las Vegas team
For sure.
usually had in their heyday.
Yeah,
So that's
or
something to
compared
watch.
to their counterparts here, if you just look at the team position rankings, again, not an end all be all, but not as deep in the infield in Las Vegas.
Well, let's not get it twisted. The greatest fielding team in the history of the league was those high rollers of those years that they had. So this team is 10th in defensive efficiency right now, 12th in zone rating,
Yeah, yeah,
10th
back.
in
Yep,
errors.
yep,
That's not Vegas like.
yep.
They can snap out of it, of course, but you you really need to get something out of some players that I don't know, like this guy at shortstop, Raymond Rosario. Is he gonna hit? Is he gonna be productive every day? He has been, but I could see where he maybe maybe tough to get something out of him. And another guy is this guy Vega. I'm not. It's just not the players up the middle that Vegas has had in the past.
Yeah, Vega. It's funny you say that. Vega kind of looks like a liability at second base. I don't like seeing a profile like him there, but I mean he's got a really great defensive. I feel like shortstop wise, Rosario isn't bad. He's hitting 192. Like that's not great. Like you said, he
Well,
needs to pull out of that. But
I hate to. This is amazing that we get to do this a month into the TBL season because if you look at
Yeah.
Vegas fielding stats, he might have the worst fielding stats you could ever imagine for a second baseman 30 games into the season.
yeah, no, he's terrible. He's
It's
terrible.
absolutely
I mean, he's got no range. Turn double play. I mean, second base and shortstop, they need to be able to turn the double play. If it's a
Any
45 at the
ground
major
ball
league
to his
level, it's
right-
just not good enough.
Yeah. I'm
But
sorry. Any ground ball to his right is an adventure, if not a base hit.
yep, and that hurts the whole pitching staff. Defense is super important. I know we talk about it a lot, but Chris Calvert on the back end, got to talk about him real quick. I love this guy.
Yeah.
He's
Nasty.
another guy you could, if you decide to sell, if that's where it goes, like ton of value for a back end closer in this league.
Yeah, he's entering free agency. It'll be interesting to see if Las Vegas actually extends him or does something before that happens. But this is, this is a guy where I would definitely be interested if he hits free agency. But yeah, he's the goods.
I candidly feel like the bullpen's underperformed so far because I think it's pretty strong. At least the top four guys or so, three or four. But I like the depth. Not the depth. Excuse me. I like the heart of the lineup. I like the bullpen. Questions and starting rotation. Jesse Dencher does look nice. This is a second year player. Just to highlight him real quick. Definitely pitcher of the year potential if he's healthy. I think injury history. Does have a concerning injury last year.
He threw 188 innings by
2
far.
years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago. Oh, so he missed a whole overall. Yeah, definitely. So he threw 188. He missed 2024. That 188 was by far the most he's thrown in anywhere in pro ball. So you got yeah. It'll be interesting to see how Dincher progresses as he gets to like 150 or whatever. I just, it's always tough coming off of a year of no activity to get a ton of innings in.
Yeah, it always makes me nervous too when you look at the injury chart, and there's a lot to the same body part, like left elbow, sore elbow, sore elbow. All of a sudden, a fractured elbow, and he's out for the year. So it's like, hopefully, it's healed now. But is that going to be like recurring as he
Mm-hmm.
continues his career, and that can really derail someone, especially as
Yeah,
a lefty, and it's your left elbow.
yeah, and I'm looking at his setup. It looks like he's got four people in the rotation. All right, so he has a guy in the bullpen who's wrecked, Loza, who's stepped in and had a spot start. I worry about the health of this pitching staff because the minute one or two guys goes down, there's not much behind it.
Yep. He does have a little money to work with in free agency, so maybe
Yep.
he goes out and just adds some depth there. Not sure what the minor league system looks like in terms of depth. There's some pitching down there. Looks like he's got Ross Colson coming back up.
Yeah, yeah, he's on rehab.
Yep.
But, once again, we talking about a guy who is fragile, and we mentioned fake fragile or whatever before. These are the real fragile. These are the real,
Once you have one of those longer injuries on there, then you start to question it.
You see that shoulder inflammation? That's those 3 months there, and
It's
yeah. I mean, it's tough. It's tough. You gotta baby these guys through if you're Las Vegas.
last thing I'll say on the team. Just it's crazy how fast of a start Christian Laredo's off to. I think he's just a monster. I know we've already talked about it. Just looking at him again blows me away. Maybe my favorite guy in the league, BJ Swart. BJ Swart was a beast and won more MVPs, and Laredo doesn't have that same kind of trophy case, but man, what a bat.
Laredo was kind of screwed by coming up with Vancouver.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I'm not hating on Vancouver here. I'm just talking about the man's career as it pertains to being amongst the best, because he was out of the mix for MVPs, and I don't know how he hasn't had more than one. I mean, guys have great years all around, but
It was the fielding stats. I mean, -30 zone rating, -20 zone rating.
Well, when there's frauds like Quentin Cook winning MVPs in San Diego,
Yeah, compared to Christian Laredo.
he has one. You telling me Laredo has the same amount of MVPs as that fraud? Oh my goodness.
That's fucking funny. All right, yeah. So let's take a look just real quick at the system. I don't think there's a ton of depth in Las Vegas. There's not. Again, you never know who becomes a star here. They're all pretty far away. We're looking at A ball, rookie ball, A-. Nobody's in the high majors.
No.
So what you got right now is what you got.
It's for me as a person who is in the same conference and is tired of them. This is exactly what I want to see. Tough decisions. There may be a gap, but
Every
before
franchise
these guys get there, and when you get rid of Laredo and Bassett, you may just not have anybody. So I don't want to hate too much on them because I love the franchise. It's a historic TBL franchise.
Oh, for sure. And I'm always rooting for a new GM to come in and do a good job.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Although at the same time, Tim's had a couple cracks at it in the postseason. So, I also, every team has to kind of cycle in and cycle out. So,
Yeah, definitely. So,
not
not a bad system. Looking at a couple guys. I mean, it's not nobody blowing. Who's this guy down here? Don Fraker. What's he doing? Is a closer? He's gonna terrorize the league. This guy. Anyways, yeah. See, I like the deep cuts. Guys like Fraker. He's 22. He's on the cusp. He's struck out a ton of people everywhere he goes. He's a lot of one quality pitch, and looks like a closer of the future. So
I don't know. I'm only looking OSA. He's got low control, and he's a fly ball pitcher. Those both scare me a little bit, but
all right, well, I'll tell you that my scout has him a lot different than OSA.
well, fair enough.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, my scout has him as a 75 potential.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, well, we'll see if we'll see if he fulfills that destiny.
yeah,
Next team, the New Orleans Mudcats, and Ryan's been one of the better GMs in league history. I think he kind of has hidden behind the success of the Las Vegas run and the Denver dynasties. But this team has been to the playoffs 17 times. Not all in Ryan's tenure. I think 13 times since Ryan has been GM. And they have 2 championships in 2014 and 2017. And yeah, we've seen this team in the postseason, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 out of the last 12 seasons. In almost every of those appearances, they saw Denver.
yep. And it's one of those franchises that also has had a history of high end talent. They had, of course, Marcelo Bland, I think, went in as a Mudcat, and BJ Swart was a Mudcat, and the other guy who pitched, Mike Shane. You know,
Yep.
that's a rich talent history.
Yeah, this team has more major awards than any other team. I was doing those reports for a while. They've won Rookie of the Year like 5 or 6 times, which blows me away. And I can't name them all right now. I don't have that in front of me, but like when I wrote that up, it was just crazy to see how many different awards they've won.
Yeah. So this is a down time for them, which is how good they are.
Yeah.
Meaning they're going to always play good baseball. And it's just that, it's not. Is it one of those? Is it a classic New Orleans team where they could just rip through a bracket and destroy you in a 7-game series, no problem? I don't think they're there, but I think they're very fundamental, and they have talent. They're a talented team.
Yeah, what's different to me this year about the Mudcats is they don't have that same top end talent that we've been talking about that wins like an MVP or Pitcher of the Year, except for Joe Barnes might be on the way. This guy's so ridiculous. So ridiculous. He's got 4 nasty pitches and a shitty circle change to go with it.
Yeah. I think he's
23.
He's right there. He's still healthy.
Ryan, give him a new nickname though, please.
Yeah, that nickname sucks.
Yep.
More people
He's a
need to
superstar.
use the nickname
I agree.
for
I
good
knew
players.
you'd back that up.
Yeah, good players that have the wrong nickname. He's just
Yes.
a good player, Just you can call him JB, call him something else. Casey's, unless there's like a backstory that you can, that it's involved with a name, you gotta change that. Casey's not a good name for Joe Barnes.
No, Joe Casey Barnes. Yeah.
Sounds
I
like a
mean,
serial killer.
unless you want to write like some really elaborate backstory about how that came to be, which I think it'd be easier just to name him something cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think this team has, again, they're off to a hot start, so
Yeah, pitching's always leads the way in New Orleans. So, the staff is off to a very hot start with their. I don't know how many quality starts they have, but look at those ERAs in the rotation.
yeah,
And
crazy.
that's as good as it gets. The pen worries me, but I know that the way the pen is managed in New Orleans is just different than a lot of other franchises. He basically has nobody in the bullpen. He's very starter centric. So Ryan always likes to have a short, I think he usually has 10, what do you got, 12 players on his.
Yeah,
his,
12 in the bullpen.
that's about as many as he has. I think I've seen him with 10 one time.
He's actually,
and just letting the starters carry it.
yep,
So
he always carries
that's a
a
good
really
way to
short
make sure
pen.
the AI makes the right decision too when you go into your pen. But he's a guy who's very all about his starting pitching.
For sure, yeah, no, that's a good observation. He always carries a really short pen. Usually, he only carries 26 guys on the roster. So I think he has 27 right now, maybe.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, he does like to take that tactic. Um, yeah, good franchise. I definitely think he's not the top talent in the Jade right now, but I do think he's still a playoff contender for sure. Um,
Yes. It, his franchise has that DNA.
yes,
They have
it's a
the
thing.
ability to know how to win 88 to 93 games and get in there. There was no question, I think, that they were going to get in last season, even though they were outside of the playoffs for a little bit of time. And it didn't surprise me that they went 7 with Denver because they know. I think this is one of those teams where the hidden baseball IQ rating is very high.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree with that assessment. The other way they're built different too is financially. We've seen three very different financial situations here between Rochester, Denver, and New Orleans. Um, but this team only has 140 committed to their payroll, which is really low if you think about it, because they're the fourth biggest budget, and they invest a lot still in their system and in continuing to um, develop players. So they haven't dumped everything into the big money guys. I hate this contract, but it's not going to be there much longer. Hate this contract. 37.5 million for a washed up first baseman.
um, the fans love this guy.
What's
He may be washed up, but his numbers, I don't know where he's going to be when all said and done, but a 155 OPS plus is crazy over 5,800 plate appearances. So a lot of home runs, and this guy puts back the ball, a lot of singles, a lot of doubles. So Dilworth, he may not be 30 worth the 37.5, but he's paying nobody else. The fans will never let you um, get over getting rid of this guy or letting him walk.
Yeah, you hope he's ready to retire in 2 years when this contract ends. I think it's just a lot of
He's
money.
playing in Denver. He's going to be in the middle of the Denver order
I don't think this guy's
in
going to Denver.
3 seasons.
Yeah.
And then I think Big Hurt was his given. That was a nickname that was given. That was from Ryan. Maybe I don't know, but
It
Jay will try to
works.
change his nickname. Once he gets him to the dynamite.
Yeah. This one works. So,
Yeah,
actually, I
good.
feel like that should be a rule. If I haven't kept track of them all, unfortunately, but if someone makes a new nickname, that's their like life nickname. No one's changing someone else's like nickname.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Like, so if another GM said a nickname and he gets traded, that's their nickname. It's too bad.
definitely.
Yeah. All right. System. Let's take a look at the system. Let's move on. We got 17 minutes left to do the other half of the division
Which we can fly through some of these teams.
for sure.
uh,
Again, a lot of young guys. A couple guys in Double A here, but they don't look ready at all. With the exception, I guess this catcher is kind of close. Julian Samniego.
this number 23 prospect, Jaheim Bryant, is he looks like a guy who's gonna be a number 1 or 2.
Yeah, just because we've
Uh,
seen his number one, I'm gonna say number two, but he does look really nice.
yeah, the performance hasn't been there where he's dominated in the low minors, but he's moving up fast. I think he's moving too fast, but yeah, this guy, he can really grow into something.
Yeah, he's definitely off to a rough start so far this year. Let's see if that pans out. Yeah, I think again, Mudcats will be
Yeah,
in the hunt,
yeah.
and Ryan is um, a historic GM with two championships.
Yep.
Congratulations, Ryan. All right, who finished in fifth place this year? Last year, excuse me.
That's a good question. I cannot tell you.
Yeah, the rest is kind of a blur here. Let's take a look at Durham. Durham was 6. Galveston maybe 8. Definitely way off. Tampa must have been Tampa 7. I'm gonna get the very last thing. I'm gonna guess it's gonna be Fort Collins. It's the only one left. All right, Fort Collins.
Fort Collins was fifth.
Fort Collins was 5th place last year.
Really?
Yep, 73 and 89 from the Roosters.
Oh wow. Yeah, let's burn through the bottom here of the Jade because yeah, that's
Everybody
that's,
talks about the Jade being the best, but it really is a top and a bottom right now.
yeah, really bottom heavy now. Or top heavy, I should say. But you know,
So this is Tim.
yeah,
Hold on one second. I
Really
forget how
tough
long ago
start
Tim
to the
took
year.
over in mid-October, so he's been here for a couple of seasons now.
yep,
Let's take a look at his team. I mean, if we think about the Fort Collins Roosters, they were run for a long time by just one GM named Kyle, and had pretty good success. Was almost always a playoff team, but it's one of those teams that really never got over the hump and made it super deep. Here's the history here: 13 playoffs for this franchise.
yeah. So I don't know who made the deals or what happened or which GM did what move, but the loss of Andre Crawford or just letting him walk was the first one that kind of changed what this franchise was about. The second one was I think there was a trade. I forget the left-handed hitter they had. I forget his name, but they traded him to Denver for next to nothing. I don't know if that GM stuck around that long.
No,
Did
he
that one.
literally came, traded, and left.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was interesting. That might have been one of Jay's Gmail accounts or something. Just tricking you.
I wrote one of those stories about the Fort Collins Roosters, and it was actually this GM named Sean, and he came and did that. But he did it in a different team too. He's the one that's responsible for the Atlanta Smashers, now the Durham Dragons, really taking a dive as well. Just looking at their history right here, around 2011, he made a big trade, and this team's never made the postseason since.
Yeah. So that they really got screwed by that. They
For sure.
Really got screwed.
That was in 2021, I
And-
want to say, or 2022.
Yeah. So the Crawford thing was kind of. I got the Crawford thing.
Crawford was a
because-
while ago. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a lot of money, and Fort Collins is still talented enough to really spread that money around and stay competitive. Yeah, this is in not to comment on.
Well, I don't think Tim. We don't know what Tim is going to be able to do as a GM yet.
No, we don't. But he got screwed by those moves.
I will say I'd love to see, even though if your team sucks, I'd love to see any GM pop up and chat a bit more. So I legit just had to look up Tim's name just real quick, just to remind myself, because I haven't talked to him since October, since I sent him the quick start code. So
And a lot of what he can hang his hat on is going to be this guy Morgan Allison. And I think that'll get him talkative. 'cause
Morgan
this guy looks
Allison,
pretty good.
let's take a look. Yeah, Allison looks nice.
Yeah. So
Here in his real rookie year, it looks like he came up just for a small debut in September last year.
this is the type of guy who you get excited about when he comes up. He's having a good start to this full year, and you can build around him because he's a great bat. He's got a very good glove, very versatile in the outfield. He ain't gonna kill you, and yeah, I think you start building now, and this is the time for Fort Collins to start bringing it back a little bit.
Yeah, and I don't hate the way he builds his roster. I mean, he's got a lot of just like underwhelming offensive bats. But if you do look, his infield is built really defensively minded. He needs to replace Sergio Soto. I don't really understand that one. And Sean Osborne's a little underwhelming defensively in center field. But like when I feel like when you don't have the offensive like superstars there, plugging in defense is always a good way to go. So if you can upgrade your liability there in left field, at least for this season, I think that can pull you up a little bit from where you are in the cellar.
Yeah.
Because he's got
Gotta
some
get
good
aggressive.
fundamentals in terms of building the roster, and he's got a lot of lefties in the rotation.
Yeah, he needs to get aggressive at shortstop. He's got a guy here who was in my minor league system. I think he was a backup in Double A for me at shortstop. He's playing every day. Now.
Yeah, the fielding rate is there, but they're just the bat doesn't match.
So, that's interesting, but you can't have having a pitcher spot, having the equivalent of the pitcher hitting is a tough proposition.
Yeah. I mean, unless you have really, really strong pieces in other positions, right?
You've got to be extremely strong.
Yep.
It's tough.
Yep.
But he's coming back. It's a very tough start to the year. They're doing nothing well. I mean, the bullpen seems to be pitching well, but I'm only going by ERA, which is not always a great indicator for bullpen success. But they're really this is a team that is rebuilding. It's
For sure.
weird to see Fort Collins rebuilding.
For sure. I mean, ever since that trade that you indicated in like 2021, again, I don't think we know what Tim's going to be able to do with this team yet, and we'll find out. They are on pace this year to have their worst season ever. Hopefully they can improve a little bit from there, but maybe that's not even the goal. Maybe their goal is to get a high pick. So, do you see any trade bait on this team?
Yeah. I would move any pitching that is going to be near free agency. I don't know who that would be right now. I'm looking because a lot of these guys are under control, which is good. This Fumo Ito guy, I don't know where he got him and how he does.
He's a
good
free agent
player.
signing this year. He's one of those international guys.
Just signed him. He's 30. He's got pretty good bars, and he hasn't been exposed yet. His injury proneness is normal. I'd trade him right now. I'd move this guy. Captain. It's tough for me to just say that because you do need these types of guys to rebuild. And that's a good deal if he is what he is. I just don't. The only guy I would think would get him a lot of a good return.
Yeah.
Without without trading a young star.
Yeah. There's a couple pieces here. I don't think anybody's getting like super top end talent. I don't mind Jose Zuniga here. He does have the best control. I'm only looking at OSA. You got to remember. So like I'm very blind in a sense.
Yeah.
As is the whole podcast. But yeah, no stamina here. But I like this guy kind of like as at least a bullpen addition if someone's looking for depth. So I don't know. Again, the strategy for a team like this, he's doing the right thing. Scouting and development budget is maxed out, so that's smart. And if you come across assets who are expiring, or if you have the money to bring in a free agent on a one-year deal, ship them at the deadline, bring in more assets, we've seen it work for a lot of different GMs.
Yeah.
It's not your strategy, JR, but...
No. This is an interesting team. We should move on though because
yes.
Oh, let's do prospects. Yes.
Yep. I remember this guy coming off the. Oh, never mind. I remember him in. Yeah, I was gonna say I remember the name. He was an IAFA.
I'm not going to tell you. I don't know what you want to. You don't have your scout on, do you?
I don't. No.
All right. So I'm not going to tell you what my scout has him at, but it's not.
Not 80. Yeah. Fair enough. I mean, I could give people a peek at my scout. I don't mind.
Yeah, I don't want to always go into.
Oh, yikes! 40.
Yeah.
My scout does not like him. My scout doesn't like any of these guys.
Yeah, that's the thing, right?
It's crazy.
So, I don't know what he thinks about his system or what's going on. If my scout could be wrong. I always accuse my scout of being wrong, so of course he could be wrong.
Again, he's got max scout and development budget. I don't know what his scout looks like, but
yeah. So there's a lot of this is I'm getting a lot of different. There's a wide berth between what OSA says and what my scout says on a bunch of these guys.
I have nothing to back this up, but I want to say that if you have a bunch of guys like in the pipeline that are like highly ranked, and you have that development budget maxed, then anybody in there with like the potential to develop could get that boost and more match their OSA numbers than maybe the scouting numbers. And I'm making that completely off of feels that comment. I have no proof.
Of course, nobody has proof, but
Yeah.
I mean, without seeing the guts of the game, the thing I always think it is what kind of minor league coaching do you have? And when I look at his minor league coaches and their reputations, a lot of guys going through not getting better.
Yeah, no, that matters for sure. There's so many. He's got one vacancy here.
Yeah, Las Vegas.
But I will say too, I've added so many coaches to this game. So if you can't find like some guys to fill depth,
If
you should be. There should be good guys.
If you look at Fort Collins coaching, for instance, I think that this is important when you trade for people. I'm
sorry,
going a little tangent here. I think that you get when you get people out of systems like this, you're gonna get somebody who needs to learn how to do something, right? So don't expect them to just hit the ground running when they get to your system after you trade for them or you sign them or whatever. But you gotta. They may not be winning on a minor league level. I don't know.
I think he might be resolving his minor league situations. Like, you got to build it. Like, if you look at the guys that have extensions right now, and this is diving pretty deep, like Tony Jones, Aaron Devin, in terms of coaches, these guys actually have, like outstanding pitching, outstanding hitting. So at least he's looking at this, it seems, and he's putting the right pieces in place. But I agree, like, budget's one thing, having the right trainers in place is another piece, and they're all just like minor tweaks that build them.
You gotta have success. You gotta have success on a minor league level. It's funny when you watch something. It's usually in other sports where where a guy is in a losing streak or just having a slump. It's usually in basketball or football, and they're like, "I've never lost before in my life," and you're like, "All right, well,
Yeah.
That goes for a lot of baseball players before they become pros. They never lose, and you get them into a situation where they're losing every year, and then they're not gonna be PBL players.
For sure. No, I think we rip on Chris in Vancouver a lot, but and I will say his AAA team's off to the best start in like a decade, so I'm really psyched about that. But like, if you look at a team that like finishes 5-108 every year, and you've got like one good prospect on that team, he's never gonna want to play baseball again. He's just gonna retire in AA, and you're never gonna have a successful franchise.
We've had a top prospect retire virtually instantly and go play basketball.
I think that was. I gotta say I feel like that was written in the code, though. I don't think that was like bad minor league system.
I don't know.
It could have been. It was actually a pretty shitty. It was Winston-Salem, wasn't it?
It was I think it was Durham.
Oh, was it?
Myth in Durham.
Okay. Yeah.
And I didn't know her system at the time. I didn't look. That's such a bad beat. I don't know.
For sure.
That would piss me off.
Miff did a good job running that franchise for a while, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I got for Fort Collins.
That was a long time at Fort Collins. Who's next? We'll speed it up. I think 6th was Galveston was 8.
Tampa Bay.
Durham, I believe. Durham was 6th, 73 and 89. It's been a rudderless team for a long time, but we have a new GM and Terry coming in, and again, I was super psyched just to see him say something in general chat without me prodding or asking him to do anything.
Yeah.
Always love to see active GMs.
Definitely. This is a team that was ran by the AI, and there's a couple things that the AI does in the off season that we as humans cannot do.
Yeah. because they act a bit more frequently, right, in between sims.
Yeah,
Yeah.
during the 2 weeks, they can get a response from a free agent and counteroffer.
Yep. I will say I've known about that. I still consider it a fair game kind of situation,
So do I.
just because this is a GM-less, rudderless team, and whoever takes over is going to need some kind of foundation. So if the AI gives them a little advantage for a few months, so be it. And the same thing happens in IAFA. If you look at it, this team probably offered like 15 like cheap contracts just to build this system out and make it more depth.
Yeah, and I agree with those moves. So I think that if they whoever the name of the person, I forget their name, who's taking over.
Terry. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're going to really step into a good situation, a better situation than Durham was in at the end of last season. So Terry's going to have a couple things to work with as far as a lot of payroll, I think, flexibility after they get a couple kind of contract or two off the books here.
Yeah.
And just, 20 and 15. We don't want to go too crazy about the record after 36 games, but that's the team is this. It's like the high watermark for this team over the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think talking about the history of this team's important. It's been a while, right? They have 2 championships. A long, long time ago, they used to be the Atlanta Smashers, and they won 2 championships.
Yes.
And they moved to Durham. They haven't been great since. They were bad before that. They moved to Durham like in 2013, maybe.
It's the toughest stadium to build a team in, I think, because everything's nerfed.
Oh, it's pitching.
Yeah. Now you can get pitching and
I mean,
get hitting, but
yeah.
it's just like everything is nerfed, and you play a lot of games close to the vest, and you gotta have a different build, I think, than most other teams. Maybe concentrating on guys that have a high eye or speed, because there's not going to be as many hits. You got to get on base, you got to move bases. I think you can sacrifice a little bit of fielding because, it's at a big park, not a lot of ground to cover, not a lot of balls are falling in. So it's an interesting stadium to build a team in.
Yeah, and if we do look at the current team, the meet the team, they do have a top catcher. They signed that international catcher, and he's playing pretty well through 30 games.
He might be good.
Sato Suzuki, I mean, he's going to hit bombs. The guy has 6 home runs already. He's got power and eye. He's an asshole.
Yeah.
Seldom
He
factors
only cares
loyalty
about
and
himself.
decisions and is short on effort. I love that. But this
Yeah,
must have been an AI signing.
Well, this is a type of guy who
Look at the contract.
it's a good. Yeah, the contract's good. The durability is interesting. If you have a good team around him, he's bearable because he's a very good glove behind the plate, and he brings a bat to the field as a catcher, which is half the battle with catchers. Yeah, he's just an asshole. So you got to have a good core around him. I don't know what their personalities look like. I can look, but
Yeah, no, this guy's bad. But yeah.
if you don't have anything around him, if you don't have any
Everybody else you mean.
leadership around him, then he's a problem.
Yeah, I hear you. Yep. It's going to be interesting. I mean, I think, though, if he stays as an 80-80, if he continues to be a 4-WAR catcher, which who knows if that's the pace he puts up for 4 years at $8 million, that's a huge win for Durham. And again, it's before Terry has a chance to make a decision here. So, but he's got some other strong positions. Like Jim Leach is a top shortstop defensively in this league. And his offensive bars aren't like what we saw with the last team we just looked at, Fort Collins.
He is probably the second best glove, I want to say, at shortstop. every day in the TBL. I think Mexico City has the first guy. That guy can't hit a lick, Lorenzo Valenzuela. But the yeah, it, this is a team that has interesting pieces at positions that are important. So we just talked about a four-war catcher with good eye and power, and he's not a slouch behind the plate, and a dynamic shortstop. It could be surprising. They could be a 2015 type surprising team going forward. And I think the pitching will bottom out, and that'll be a problem. But they're all right now.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you get out of the Jade division and you're 21-15, it's smooth sailing from there. Like,
Yes.
I mean, the team could always collapse. It happens to every single team, especially Fort Collins, historically, and Galveston from the Jade. But again, I mean, the toughest is behind you until you get to the end of the season and we come back to divisional play, because the Jade's top is one of the toughest you're going to face.
Yep.
But yeah, I love this team. I think they might be competitive this year, and if they're not, they have pieces that are super valuable. So I think Terry is coming into a pretty good situation. He got pretty lucky getting this team, as did the other 3 to 4 GMs who didn't make it to their first export, but that's okay.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll say hello to you guys once you try to trade me your best players, and I'll acknowledge you're part of the league. Once you send me a trade in Stats Plus, you gotta log in. You gotta get in there.
Jay's gonna get on the podcast because we rail on his aggressiveness sometime, but he's gonna get on here and talk about your style of play, because I'm sure he's got some comments as well.
Yeah. Well,
you are also a good trader, is what I'm trying to say, I guess.
Jay's ducking smoke. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, Durham's got a decent system.
Yeah, looks good.
Again, just a lot of prospects. Who knows how they turn out, but I'm not going to dive too deep. But I think Terry's got a good situation.
Yeah. A lot of players within the top 500. Yeah, not getting too deep, but he's got some players.
Yeah. The next GM here up is John in the Tampa Bay Cannons.
One of my favorite teams.
This team is ridiculous. I will say he's $10 million in the debt, but he had a tax this year right at the start of the season because he was over budget last year. Had a very high payroll, and he's done a pretty good job getting rid of most of that somehow. Definitely a team that's about to go into a rebuild. And yeah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, a team that I enjoy because of the payroll situation. I like it
it's
when
better.
Somehow somebody has almost a $300.
He's eighth now. He's eighth. He's much better.
Yeah, he's better now.
Yeah, that was crazy last year.
He could get ahead of it. Trade Nick Stockett. Nick Stockett is a Gold Glove, dynamic center fielder.
Yeah, John, if you're listening, this guy can get so much value. Again, I don't know if you'll be competitive or not. You're definitely off to a slower start. But if you do decide to trade at the deadline, Nick Stockett as a premier position, guy who stays healthy. Oh, he's wrecked.
No, he doesn't. That's the problem. Trade him now.
Yep. Oh, yikes. I still think he gets a good value, though. Look at the WAR he's put up every year.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, this is I'd take a chance on this guy.
He put up 4 WAR in 70 games last year.
Yeah, he's a guy who accidentally is the best player on the field when he steps onto it.
He's gonna do something. He put up 3.7 WAR last year through 74 games. He hit 199. Yeah. He must be the greatest fielder ever. He must be Willie Mays incarnate.
Yeah, he's the best center fielder. You can't throw him out stealing. He's gonna hit a bomb every once in a while. He's gonna hit he kills left-handed pitching.
If this league had one get out of jail free card where you could just heal one guy,
this is the guy.
Yeah.
This is one of the TBL's exciting players. This is the guy that
I haven't looked at him before. I'm glad we're looking at him.
The fans must love this guy. Come out and watch this guy play because it's just nothing but bombs, great center field, stealing bases. His zone rated, I can't. Yeah, go look at his career fielding stats, and this guy is one of the best center fielders this league has ever seen.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder where he ranks. Actually, I never look at the fielding stats, but
Yeah, never.
for someone in such a short period of time, I gotta imagine that's a really high number.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So, I think Tampa Bay should just their season. We can talk about a lot of things going forward about this team. This is their season right here. What do you get out of Nick Stockett on the trade market? Because he's gonna get hurt, and you don't want him to have like a 15-month injury going into the last 2 years of his deal. This is a sweet spot. Get rid of this guy.
Yeah, I think if you retain him and someone's competing down the, if this guy stays healthy to the deadline, and someone's competing, this is a great addition for any team down the stretch. Because even if he gets healthy hurt this year, you can take a swing at it again next year with him on a cheaper contract. And again, John should get good return for him.
Yeah.
We should talk about. Oh, go ahead.
No, I say if he retained half, and that was it. That's all he needs to do. I'd probably think about giving him a first rounder for a guy like this.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I totally agree. Definitely a risk, but if you're trying to win a championship, you got to take a risk sometimes. So
yeah, definitely.
Just looking through his system, I mean his current team pretty bad all around outside of what we've been talking about. His closer's pretty good. The back end, David Archuleta. This is a guy that's being paid way too much, though, I feel like, for a closer, and he's being paid way too long. Into his 30s, he's getting more money as he gets older, which I don't like to see either. At least not to that age for a pitcher.
That's an interesting one, and that was just signed, wasn't it? So, yeah, prior to 2025.
Yep.
So, I don't know. If I'm rebuilding, I don't sign him to that type of deal.
Yeah. You got to think where you're investing your money and where your priority positions are.
I just don't know. See, I don't know what it's like to deal with guys like this when they just don't want to be on your team. So I don't know if that was the case with Archuleta, where he was just like, you guys lose. This is what it's going to be, my way or the highway.
Yeah.
But that's insane. I would consider retaining on his deal and sending out that as well this season.
Yeah. I think you could, for retention, you could definitely get a biter. Someone's going to pay half of this and lock that guy up for 5 years. He's only 28.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's
that's extremely valuable. He's an extremely valuable player if you take half.
You're right. Any back end talent is. So maybe now is the time, even though you just gave him the big contract. Might be a good time to put him on the market and see what's out there. Tampa's system, not a lot, pretty shallow. This is someone who could definitely work on looking at their minor leagues a bit more.
Yeah, I used to pay attention to Tampa Bay, their system, but I haven't seen much come out recently. The first guy who was named Dick, right?
Dick, yeah, he did an okay job for a while.
Great job, but he did a good job with the system.
Yep.
But
Cole was a pretty strong GM in Tampa.
Yeah. Yeah, Cole was good too. Yeah. But I don't know. See, this is a very shallow system. This is very shallow for being as bad as they've been. They haven't, I don't think, traded away picks. Maybe he has. I don't remember.
He actually has a little bit, but it's been back and forth. He's brought in prospects and he's traded away prospects.
Yeah. So this is, I would even, there's the top prospect he has is a guy named John Storch. I would even look to trade him and even start by doing that. Yeah,
someone would give you a haul for, so he's a first round pick, right? So I ask for a first plus, definitely a first plus. And if someone wants this guy, then he's definitely an appealing pitcher. He's an injury. He's a healthy starting pitching prospect. I
But
do think you're right though. I think you're thinking the right way. John's definitely got to deeply dive and do a really strong rebuild here. He's not going to be able to just like float along and add free agents and then rely on
yeah,
any kind of system building to get to success.
yeah, it's a very shallow. It's one of the most shallow systems, and this is a conference thing where just the our conference I think has a very deep minor league system as well. You come to compete. The better teams already have better systems. Right? All the better teams have better systems. So you gotta kind of really grind up
Yeah, I
some
mean,
players.
I even think he could improve his system just by going in and like going into free agency real quick. Here, I'll just do an example here and like making some filters where you like, hey, overall demand is less than one and they're like young, right? And just like add some free agents to your system because if you
Yeah.
just look at the prospect pipeline right now, um, like this is the only team we've seen gray area at the bottom. Like they don't even have
Is that? See, I looked at that. I thought that was just like your screen or something. Is
no,
that really what that
no, they
is?
just don't have depth. So
That's
I haven't looked at the
yeah, tough.
organization here, but there's just a lot of
Yeah,
really bad players in this organization where you could cut some of these guys and add better ones. Um,
yeah,
and that would just be a basic way to improve everybody's success in your system.
yeah.
And,
He's in trouble.
and the other thing is he's got no money in development or scouting, and that's because of the bad finances. So once he gets
Yeah.
off these contracts, invest in development, invest in scouting. Don't invest in closers.
This is the most dire situation I think I've seen in the TBL.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna give John some credit here. He's taken a big leap of faith hopping into an online league. I think he's only really played on offline before. So really, this is his first experience playing against other people. So it's gonna take
Yeah,
some
this is and it's
some
tough.
adjusting.
I think we talked about it a
Everybody
couple
knows how to
podcasts ago.
play.
Yeah, well, it's tough being a human GM, taking over for another human, no matter what the situation is. We talked about Las Vegas, and that was a great situation. It's still tough to understand and put your fingerprint on something that has been growing like a weed under somebody else's um, uh, under their purview. It's something where you can't. I don't know. I think he had a lot of good players that he just had to resign. I think the last GM left him with a lot of high priced players, and you got to trade those guys. You got to trade them.
Yep. Yep. No, I agree. You're either in it or you're not, and being bold in either direction always pays off. I think so.
Yeah.
One more team left here in the Jade. We've got the Galveston Gremlins, and this has been an interesting franchise over time.
Very interesting because they were like a rocket to start off. Who's a GM there?
Jeremy, Jeremy's the current
Yeah.
GM. Um,
So he made the playoffs pretty quickly after taking over. I think I remember.
let's take a look here.
Yeah, Jeremy.
Yep, 2021.
Has
Yep.
yeah, and I don't see him making stupid moves. I think he's I always see decent stuff happening with him. I just don't know what's going on. If why this team hasn't really gotten out of the basement yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I forget how long Jeremy's been here now. Quite a while, I think. But the team has been spinning its gears for a while. I feel like it hasn't brought in a ton of top end talent in terms of prospects. This system was you got. I feel like you got to remember this system was like really bare when he took over. Like maybe no
That's bad,
prospects
right?
at
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
Um, so I don't know. There's some talent here that's getting up there, right? If you look at a lot of his top 500 prospects, doesn't mean everything, but there's a lot of guys in Double A and Triple A. So I think this is a team that's a few years away from at least, like you said, getting out of the basement. Um,
Yeah. He's building it from the he's building it from the foundation up. So the bullpen is strong. I guarantee he would like his starting pitching to be stronger. But when you have a small budget, you have to develop your starting pitching. And like you said, he came into a situation where he may not have had anybody to to build around as far as starters are concerned. And after that, that's it's a very nondescript bunch of position players, led by Blake Boyle, who was another guy who Fort Collins let go of, and that's probably their number one guy to trade.
Yeah. This team definitely doesn't have a ton of top end talent. Look at the salaries; they're not too committed to anybody with a lot of big money, so they're rewarding their small ball players who are playing well. Hopefully, they've got a lot of team options, so they're staying flexible. They've got under $100 million payroll.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Blake Boyle. You just bringing it up. What Jeremy can do to help his situation the most is again just try to get rid of any of these guys if you can for any value, and just bring in more picks and continue to build the system, because it looks like that's kind of what he's doing, and hopefully he can get back into that competitive window. This is, I'm surprised. I thought Galveston was a more successful franchise than it's been, but if you look at them, they've been a pretty desolate franchise in for quite a while.
They were competitive at a time where the Jade was just developing their monster franchises, and thought that Galveston was part of that.
Yeah, that 2010 to 20 decade was a monster for the Jade. So yeah, they came in right at the beginning.
And then Las Vegas, New Orleans, Denver took off.
Yep.
And then, a lot of I don't know if Galveston sold a lot of those years, but maybe they shouldn't have. I don't know. But you could not sell and stay competitive in the Jade, and then eventually, you just get run over, over and over again.
Yep.
In that division.
Yep, and I think they're 14-22. I think they're going to finish last, but we'll get to that right now. Let's just rank these things real quick, and then we'll be done. Yeah. Thoughts? You want to go first? You want me to go first?
I'll make it pretty easy. I can go first.
Go ahead.
I got Denver finishing first.
All right.
I got Rochester second. I'll have Vegas third, New Orleans fourth, all playoff teams. And then after that, I'll go Durham, Fort Collins, Galveston, and then Tampa Bay.
All right. So by saying all four of those guys are playoff teams, you're inadvertently, maybe you intentionally are saying that only 3 teams from the Sapphire are going to make playoffs, which we'll get to.
Yes.
But
There's going to be if we talk about the Sapphire, there's definitely a listener of this podcast who's not going to be happy with what I think their team's going to do. But yes.
I've got Rochester finishing first. I've got Denver in second this year. I've got New Orleans third. I've got Durham fourth. I think they're going to surprise. I've got Las Vegas fifth. And then I have Galveston, Fort Collins, Tampa Bay. So some slight differences.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this up. We'll disconnect. We'll get offline here for a second. I'll talk with you. We'll see if we want to keep going. If not, we'll call it a night.
Sounds good.